A new routine. Years have passed, and Shrek has embraced a quieter life in the swamp with Fiona and their children. The days are filled with muddy games, bedtime stories, and swamp maintenance. However, Shrek can't help but feel a sense of emptiness, like something is missing. Fiona notices his boredom, but says nothing. Yet, meanwhile, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 starts a new musical swamp tour business, dragging Dragon and their kids into it. The calm before a new storm is brewing in the murky water. Royal summons. A royal messenger arrives at the swamp, inviting Shrek and Fiona to the kingdom of far, far away. King Arthur, now grown and ruling, is facing unrest in the outer lands. Strange magical disturbances are spreading across kingdoms, and legends speak of a returning darkness. Arthur seeks Shrek's help, remembering his past as a hero. Though reluctant, Fiona encourages Shrek to go, sensing it may reignite his purpose. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏's dilemma. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 insists on tagging along, bringing his entire family, Dragon and their kids, with him whether Shrek likes it or not. Their journey is full of comedic chaos as 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 tries to give motivational speeches while causing accidents. Puss in Boots joins them en route, dramatically announcing he's retired but too beautiful to ignore destiny. The old team is back together, but their bond has aged, and so have they. Still, adventure stirs a spark in their hearts. The cracked crystal, in far, far away. King Arthur shows them the royal crystal, a magical relic that keeps peace among magical realms. But the crystal has cracked, and evil magic has begun leaking out. A mysterious villain named 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 the Forgotten, once a rejected fairy tale character, has returned. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 plans to rewrite all stories and erase happily ever after forever. Shrek is skeptical, until Fiona receives a vision from the fairy godmother's old mirror, showing the swamp in flames. Quest reunited. Shrek and friends must retrieve the 3 anchors of balance, ancient magical relics that can repair the royal crystal. One lies in the caverns of forgotten tales, guarded by stories long abandoned. Another in the mountains of melody, where cursed music controls the land. And the third lies in the hollow of heroes, a graveyard for fallen legends. Each destination tests them physically, emotionally, and morally. Shrek grumbles, but deep down he's excited. Caverns of Forgotten Tales. The group enters the eerie caverns, where incomplete fairy tales wander aimlessly. Sad, half-written creatures haunt the corridors. They meet 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, an unfinished character who helps them navigate the maze. Shrek feels guilt, realizing that even villains or side characters deserve a second chance. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏's jokes lighten the tension, but they face a giant paper dragon made from crumpled story pages. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 sacrifices herself to help them escape, and the first anchor is won. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏's attack. As they celebrate, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 appears in the shadows, mocking their efforts. With dark magic, he brings 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 back, twisted and weaponized. Shrek hesitates to fight her, but is forced to act. Puss leaps in heroically, fending her off. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 escapes, but his words haunt Shrek. "You made me, and I will make you regret every page." Fiona, watching through the mirror, grows worried. There's something more personal about 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏's connection to Shrek. Mountains of Melody. Their next stop is the Mountains of Melody, where sound itself is magic. The group is trapped in a musical number they can't escape. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 thrives in the chaos, loving every second. Puss, however, starts losing his voice and his charm, realizing he may be aging. Shrek, despite his hate for musicals, finds the rhythm inside himself to break the curse. They retrieve the second anchor hidden inside a piano made of frozen lightning. Fiona's stand. Back in the kingdom, Fiona feels restless and takes matters into her own hands. She sets out alone to uncover more about 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏's origins. She visits the ruins of enchantment and discovers that 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 was once a character meant to be Shrek's rival in the original tale, but was cut out. Twisted by rejection and forgotten by time, he became obsessed with rewriting fate. Fiona realizes 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 blames Shrek for everything. Reunion in the Hollow. The team reaches the Hollow of Heroes, where statues of legendary fairy tale icons stand. There, Shrek meets the spirit of his former rival, Prince Charming, now reformed and at peace. Charming warns that defeating 𝗏𝗡 will take more than strength. It'll take acceptance and empathy. The final anchor is hidden inside Shrek's own statue, symbolizing his reluctant heroism. As they leave, the ground shakes. 𝗏𝗡 has taken far, far away. Kingdom in chaos. They return to find the kingdom twisted by 𝗏𝗡's magic. The castle floats upside down in a sky of burning parchment. Citizens speak in reverse, and fairy tale creatures are rewritten into monsters. 𝗏𝗡 rules from a giant throne shaped like a shattered storybook. Fiona joins them just in time and shares what she learned. Shrek is shaken. He never meant to hurt anyone, but he knows he must make things right. Cracks in the team. Tensions flare. Puss feels old and useless. 𝗙𝗪𝗏 doubts his worth beyond comic relief. Fiona and Shrek argue about responsibility. He just wanted a peaceful life, and she wanted him to be more. Emotions boil over until a rewritten big bad wolf attacks. Forced to fight together, they rediscover their bond in battle. Afterward, Puss delivers a touching monologue about being more than a role, inspiring everyone. Infiltrating the throne, they sneak into the corrupted castle using disguises and warped nursery rhymes as keys. 𝗙𝗪𝗏 leads a wild distraction involving a tap-dancing troll. Shrek and Fiona reach 𝗏𝗡's library of twisted tales. Every book inside contains someone's future. Shrek finds his family's book and sees blank pages. 𝗏𝗡 appears, offering Shrek a chance to rewrite everything. No pain, no swamp, just paradise. Shrek nearly accepts, but sees Fiona's reflection in the blank page and refuses. The final confrontation. A massive battle erupts. 𝗏𝗡 warps reality, turning Shrek into a meek servant, Fiona into a damsel, and 𝗙𝗪𝗏 into a literal donkey. But their love and friendship break the spell. They unite, combining their strengths. Fiona leads the charge. Puss duels a rewritten 𝗪𝗪stiltskin. 𝗙𝗪𝗏 rallies the people with music. Shrek finally reaches 𝗏𝗏 and tells him the truth. Even forgotten characters deserve a chance, but not at the cost of others. Redemption or ruin. 𝗏𝗏 falters, conflicted. Fiona offers him a place in the story, his own story. He can choose who he wants to be. At the last second, he tries one final strike, but 𝗏𝗏's spirit intervenes, stopping him. The castle collapses as the royal crystal reforms. Light floods the sky, restoring far, far away. 𝗏𝗏 vanishes, leaving behind a single blank book, untitled. A new balance. Peace returns, and King Arthur names Shrek and Fiona the guardians of balance. They politely decline, preferring swamp life. 𝗙𝗪𝗏's kids are now famous after their musical rebellion. Puss retires again, this time opening a sanctuary for lost fairy tale animals. Shrek feels fulfilled, not because he was a hero, but because he accepted who he is. Fiona surprises him with a rebuilt treehouse in the swamp, a symbol of new beginnings. The story lives on. The Royal Library opens a new wing, the Forgotten Wing, where stories like 𝗏𝗏 and 𝗏𝗏 are preserved. Children are invited to write their own tales. Shrek's children contribute their first illustrated book. Ogre Dad saves the world again. Shrek is embarrassed but proud. 𝗙𝗪𝗏 becomes a motivational speaker. Fiona gives speeches on acceptance and identity. Puss writes a memoir titled 9 Lives, 1 Legend. The final farewell. As the swamp is bathed in golden light, the characters gather for a final feast. Everyone is older, but the spark of friendship remains. Shrek toasts to imperfection, growth, and second chances. They dance, laugh, and swap memories. As fireflies light up the swamp, Shrek looks at Fiona and whispers, This is the real fairy tale." She replies, "And we wrote it together." Post-credit surprise. A young character enters the royal library, guided by an older donkey. They open 𝗏𝗏's blank book. Slowly, words begin to form on the page. A new tale begins, this time written by the forgotten for the forgotten. A faint, Mischievous chuckle echoes in the background. Cut to black. The legacy continues. Shrek and Fiona sit on their porch, watching their kids play. The camera zooms out over the swamp, the stars forming the outline of an ogre's face. A narrator closes with, "And though every story must end, the best ones live on in those who dare to dream them." Cue iconic, "I'm a believer" cover as credits roll. The characters gather for a final feast. Everyone is older, but the spark of friendship remains. Shrek toasts to imperfection, growth, and second chances. They dance, laugh, and swap memories. As fireflies light up the swamp, Shrek looks at Fiona and whispers,